Can we do the extra first just to really mix my episode up?
Well, no, I'm going to do an intro.
I know, but I like the idea of starting with the extra just to make my episode special.
You want to make?
Yes. Why don't you start with Rick? That was the best interview I have ever.
There you go. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way.
See, we had two completely different extras planned, Terry. Mine was going to be like you saying, Rick, for your time with everything you're going through right now, and and giving you really your first big break in comedy, hosting the award show. But the funniest person with a day job contest, rather. But anyways, go ahead, do your intro, whatever you call it. By the way, is this the preamble we were supposed to do before when we stopped?
This is the extra. This is the extra intro. Thank God he's gone.
I believe you said that when you met me in '91 in an April wine show, by the way.
Could have been. All right. When I hear the words Rick Bronson, I could think of many things, the least of which is Taxidermist. He's my guest on today's program.
Reluctantly.
This podcast reluctantly sponsored by ThompsonMortgages.com. It costs you nothing to make a phone call to see if you can get a better rate, a better term, and better service for your mortgage. Also, Concept.com. Concept Clothing and Culture. CONXEPPT.com. Look your best.
Reluctantly.
Is that where we're going to start? My bio? I think, do me at least a favor. Do you have my bio there? Just read the first. You don't. I don't have it, but it's something along the lines that Rick Bronson is a comedian, magician, musician, producer, writer, and taxidermist.
Okay, here it is. Rick Bronson is an award-winning comedian, magician, TV host, writer, producer, musician, and taxidermist.
Okay. Now, what do the first things all have in common?
They are all performance-based
performance
art.
And show business related or entertainment related. The last one is taxi. I don't touch live animals. You think I'm going to stuff one dead? No. It was just meant to be so off-puttingly weird that people should go, this has got to be BS. Everyone read that intro and thinks I'm a taxidermist.
Have you ever been introduced that way on stage about to do your stand-up?
At the Rosie Awards, Chris Duncan read that.
Like last week?
Last week! I'm like, Duncan, you've known me since I did the A Channel. I was on Help TV, for the love of God. And you think I do taxidermy? Oh my God, dude, you built a backyard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use equipment, hammers. The Jews are not good with the hammer and nails. If I recall correctly, the last time a Jewish guy had some hammers and nails, things did not go so well.
Something to do with nails, yes.
Yeah, which, by the way, I'd like to point out, a lot of people are still very pissed off at my people, the Jews, for the whole Jesus thing. And I want you to know, this had nothing to do with religious beliefs in any way whatsoever. This was simply a hit. That's all. It was a Jewish mob hit. You see, here's what it is. The Jews were doctors, were lawyers, few entertainers. We don't do manual. We call you for that. Whenever I have don't you remember fixing my floor? I think I called you to fix the floor once, didn't I?
Yeah. I recall. Yeah, call the big dumb Russian guy.
Several repairs in Arizona. I'll give you the list before you get there. Several repairs. I don't know if you and Jody are going to be seeing each other much. I got to be honest. You have a lot of crap to do. We probably should let the listeners in on what we're talking about here, because so far it's been one big inside joke. But yeah, Terry and I go, if I may, Terry, take over the hosting rules, because you're really not doing great at this. But
I'm awful.
But Terry and I met, I moved here 91 from Montreal. And were you at K then, or were you at, where were you?
I left K97 early summer of 1992 and started at the Bear in the, September long weekend of 1992. So I was.
And then when did you go back to K? What year was that?
In 1997.
7, okay.
So signed on the Bear in 92, there for 5 years, fired by Greg Diamond, hired back at K97, much to the chagrin of some people.
You don't forget people who fire you, do you?
No, no, you
You
don't.
don't.
You
You
don't
just
forget people that fire you, especially after you just gotten married and your wife is pregnant and you had just purchased a home.
well, here's an idea. Fire your wife. And then, I mean, it's just, you have less to worry about financially. Just a home. She'll take care of the kid. Nah, don't do that. Don't fire her. She's
Not
wonderful. Jody's a wonderful woman. And your kids are great kids, by the way. Yeah, that's how long I've known. I still remember your kids like as kids. And now one of them's a world-class drummer and the other one's a world-class bartender. Knowing how much you've drank at my place in Arizona, I'm going to assume that your daughter got your genetics.
she's a creator, not a consumer.
Got it. Got it.
Oh,
But
don't get me wrong. She still
I'm
likes to
pretty
tip
sure
on.
she creates for dad when she comes home on the holidays. What are you
Well,
cooking up for Christmas this year, sweetheart?
it's funny when she does come home, whether it's Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever the case. I usually go and pick her up at the airport. And before we get home, we stop off at a Wine and Beyond. And it usually costs me around $600 with all of her latest latest bottles.
And
Bottles
to
of
think, at one point, you and I talked about maybe I should hire your daughter to work at one of my, because I was doing the speakeasy concept, which is right up her alley. But then I see all these awards she's winning. And now that I'm hearing what her grocery list is, I can't afford those cogs, cost of goods sold, to have her bartend for me. Never mind her salary is going to be top tiered salary because she's the best bartender in Canada.
Well,
It's
let's
impressive.
hope her salary is starting to go. In the meantime, if you do want to catch my daughter and get a drink made, a world class drink, you can go and see her at the Kiefer Bar in Chinatown in
Is that where
Vancouver.
she's at? Well,
Yeah.
I made this one myself in the comic condo I've been relegated to since my divorce.
Ah, Jesus.
All by myself.
If I'd have known that you were what is that?
It's a cocktail. I'm having a little bit of a. Actually, hang on. I don't know if I should give this to the viewers, our listeners. I think I just created the greatest drink ever, strictly out of running out of mix. I'm drinking Jameson, and I had no ginger ale.
Uh-huh.
And I can do the Diet Coke thing, but I actually can drink Jameson. As you know, we've spent many a nights together drinking around my fire pit in the backyard in Arizona. But I can drink Jameson neat. I can drink it on the rocks. I like whiskey, scotches. You remember my bar. It's mostly brown stuff, not a lot of white stuff. Unless you're there, then it's like we literally have to have a beer truck deliver pallets. And I'm sorry, Jody might hear this up. Jody, that's not. He was very restrained. One beer the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I created a new beverage today. I don't even know if I should let this out.
What is it? Is it like a Sazerac? Is it
Whiskey with, you know me, my low carb lifestyle. Diet A&W root beer. I kid you not, there's something about the two of these things that go together. It pulls out the caramelization of the whiskey. Honestly, I shouldn't have even given that away on it. I should be bottling this and selling it. Delightful.
A&W Reap Beer?
Studio, we're finished. I could have come there and we could have got day drinking together, you son of a bitch. Not finished. You're too busy building credenzas in the backyard just to get laid. I know.
I have a thing happening later today. Or else I would have. If this was an evening recording of the podcast, I probably would have had a nice little Buffalo Trace or something going on. Angels
You
Envy or
enjoy a little
going.
Buffalo Trace. I like a little Woodford Reserve. I like a little Basil Hayden, and then I like my scotches. And I got to tell you though, and I've been to Dublin a few times. Once when we were doing the travel show and we filmed there. Once on a family vacation, and even though Bush Mills is all over the place, I was just a Jameson guy from day one, and I've never looked back. And before going to Ireland, if I drank, my drink of choice was more often than not Scotch, which I think I got from my Jewish grandparents in Montreal, who had 4 o'clock every day was happy hour. Bubby Mimi had to get the nosh played out because you couldn't just drink without a nosh. You have to have a nosh. And 4 o'clock every day. And I'll still never, so funny, to this day, I still remember my grandfather's crappy booze collection. I think I remember, what was the crappy, is it not Beefeater. Beefeater was, I guess, okay, but like really old classic liquors that Wine and Beyond can't give away, that your
Uh,
daughter will never use in any beverage.
Old Sock Gin. I
That I don't know.
no,
It's not old it's bathtub. I thought you were telling me something your daughter's actually created, and you're just being an asshole. All right, we're back to the day we met.
was it like the 5-star whiskey? Remember the whiskey with the star 5 on it?
No, but you know what you just reminded me? Do you remember my beer joke that I used to do when there was an American in the crowd? I go, you know what the difference between our country and your country is, you son of a bitch? In Canada, the 5 comes before the point on the beer bottle.
Yeah, that's right.
You weak ass pussies.
Uh-huh.
Apologize, by the way. I'm still getting over that cold I told you about. So if I'm cleaning, it's for a reason, so I don't look
Yeah,
like a putz on your Zoomcast or what is.
that
I've never done this Riverside thing, but it's actually a nice format. I like
yeah,
this layout.
it works pretty good, and it's good. I lied to you about not having my studio finished anyway. I just didn't want your phlegm here.
Thank you.
Um,
I think my friend in Toronto wants. Can I show her the setup, Michaela? This is Terry's setup. See that we're on right now. There's Terry. You met Terry already. He was the one that was really pleasant when we spoke to him. Remember? Yeah, just go with that. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
very animated face.
Yes. If wait, mine or hers? Hang on. I'm.
Mine.
Oh, yours. Okay. So, yet still, anyone listening to this podcast has no clue what's going on. But
Mm-mm.
I think we should only, and I know you usually take control of all your interviews, but I feel like, you and I have, obviously a friendship. We go way back. By the way, you're looking a little blurry to me right now. Is your camera a little dirty or is it a little slow, your internet speed?
Everything is fine. Just
Oh, sure.
it'll all shake out in the wash. It all gets.
Well, I hear what you're saying. We'll fix it in post. Gotcha. I know what you're talking.
That's right.
I hear you. But like, I mean, it's kind of crazy. Like, since I moved here in '91, and I know a lot of as you do, a lot of the media personalities in the city. You just had obviously one of my best pals on with Daryl McIntyre not too long ago, and the lovely Carrie Doll. But a lot of media personalities come and go. I mean, we've seen it happen a million times in this city. And you somehow have been the one constant feature and media personality that I can honestly say, like, out of all the people we know here, both of us, I have probably known you the longest since moving here from Montreal. And it's amazing how much crossover stuff we've had together over the years. Have you discussed on this in the past? Have you had anyone on from your former late night talk show TV days that we filmed up at the, was it Reds then, or was it the event center then? What was it?
It was called Nashville's
Oh, it was
in
Nashville.
West.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
amazing how shit changes in the mall.
Is it? Yeah, and then because Nashville's was there. We did the whole first show, first year of the show there, and we were all set to do year 2, and we had a sponsor. Pizza 73 was going to sponsor to the tune of $50,000.
Which is big money back in '93, and especially since 49 goes into your pocket for talent, leaving a grand for production, which by Canadian standards, a feature film.
Yeah, it was actually 99 was the first year. 2000 would have been the second fall, the year 2000. So, but the thing about it is the guys from Nashville's didn't think it was necessary to pay Shaw for production costs and sponsorship and all of that
Yeah.
stuff for year one.
And then Shaw pulled out, and that was it.
And that was the end of it. But yeah, you think about
So
that.
that tells you how important I am, Terry Evans, reluctantly listener podcast people. He only had one season. I was on it.
Yes, you were. You were
on the show. I was a
and
guest on the Terry Evans. What was it called? Was it Terry Evans Tonight, or was it Edmonton Tonight? What?
Friday night with Terry Evans.
Friday Night with Terry Evans. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Real memorable.
Well, dude, you know what? For me as a young comic, think about that show predated when I had my first pretty big hit with the travel series with The Tourist that went international. And I mean, I think at that point, TV wise, aside from doing stand up specials, the only interview, like, was Bullard even on then, or was Bullard after you?
Well, that's the thing. I remember having Pam Stone and Russell Peters and other guests on. Lots of comics would come through and be on the show. Jeremy
Yep.
Hotz, Harlan Williams. They would come in on the show and they would go, "What? Why is this not a national show?"
So
You know, because both they had come from being on. I remember Pam
Bullard
Stone.
was on then. Okay. So yeah. So I think my limited talk show interviews. I mean, obviously, as comics, we do a boatload of radio. You know that. Every market I traveled to, especially pre-internet, when comedy clubs were still advertising through print medium and radio. I've done a million radio interviews, but I think as far as TV goes in Canada, it was Bullard and your show. No, I also did no, but that was after. You were amongst the first two. When I did the travel show and it got picked up internationally, and then I got pseudo Canada celebrity famous for a brief moment in time, just like Ben Mulrooney famous. As soon as he's gone, everyone was happy. Uh, but but I will say, you two, you and Bullard are probably my first two talk shows. And then after I got the travel show, I remember doing Vicky Gabbro in Vancouver. I did a bunch of panel shows. I remember doing TSN Michael Landsberg's Off the Record. I did that a couple of times,
Did you do
but
Deanie Petty?
not the show. Oh, if people do not laugh at that one,
That's what you call throwing up a grapefruit.
you did. You literally put a ball on a tee for me, Terry, and I played baseball. By the way, can I get off topic for a second just to talk baseball?
We had a topic going.
I guess. Good point. Fair enough. So
Yeah.
let's just stick with my ADHD. We'll bounce around. At some
Okay.
point, folks, you'll find moments entertaining. At other points, you go, someone should just smack this Jew in the face. But it's neither here nor there. But when will this air, Terry? How long before the greatest episode with the best extra beginning and intro outing will air? When do we figure? Because
Let
I'd
me.
like to talk about the World Series on a serious note.
It may be. I believe it's November 25th. This will run.
Right after my birthday, November 19th. Is that a
Yes.
gift to me?
Sure.
I feel
Yes.
I'm giving you the gift. I'm being far funnier than you are
Oh,
tonight.
you're giving me the gift, all right.
You once gave me the gift. I remember camping with you. Anyhow, World Series. Folks, I'm sorry if you're a Blue Jays fan. I was, I guess, pulling for them being quote unquote Canada's team, but I'm born and raised in Montreal. I'm an Expos guy. Terry, you know this. And I kind of soured on baseball after 94 with the lockout strike, call it what you want. When the Expos had the best team in baseball, they weren't a paid for team. They were an entire team that was developed through the minor league system. And they had Pedro Martinez, Guerrero, Vlad's that. I mean, this was a team to take it all. It was the best team in baseball. So not a Blue Jays fan. Because when you're in Montreal, you don't like the Leafs, you don't like the Blue Jays. Fuck, you don't like Toronto. I won't even wear blue and white together. This is blue and black, just so we're clear. It's not blue and white, okay? By the way, you didn't thank me for dressing up for your show, and I'm noticing you're in a t-shirt. So you know what? Fuck you, all right?
You know what? I'm in a T-shirt the same color as my backdrop. It just looks
Yeah,
like
that's
a
well done, by the
floating
way.
head.
That's the you look like Ian Leonard doing weather in the early days.
Green screen.
Ian, why'd you wear the green suit again? It's not St. Patrick's Day every day, Lenny.
No.
Anyhow, just to get back to this, and I'm sure we'll find another topic to bounce off of very shortly after that for my OCD, ADHD friends out there. Bottom of the 11th, they're down one. I'm not talking about the stupid shit before all the people are talking about the runners left on base. But I guess I should say before I about to talk about situational baseball is that I played baseball at the highest level in Canada. I played AAA ball all the way up through junior. I was even being seen by college teams in the U.S. My pitching coach was Bill Lee, the spaceman. Do you remember Bill Lee?
And
Pitched
met
on.
Bill at a golf tournament.
Great guy, and anyone who can pitch a fucking game on acid, that's my hero. My hero. If you can throw strikes on acid, the best. One of the greatest guys I've ever known. Dude, when we'd hang out, he would tell us, like a lot of the guys on the team, stories. And this is back when Major League Ball was still having a bunch of racism issues, and Billy was not afraid to out it at all. So I worked with Bill Lee. I spent my summers at baseball camp, like serious baseball, like not for like minor league, pickup baseball. This was for all people that were either vying for college or playing AA, AAA ball. And I played basically my childhood from 13 to 19, which is weird because, as you know, I started doing entertainment when I was 12 with magic, and then at 15 started doing comedy. So I was kind of this like rare breed, if you will, that, usually you're either the jock or you're the artsy guy. You're not usually the jockey's artsy or the Arctic. I don't know what to call that word. We'll just make something up. Jacket.
The dork.
The dork. Well, that I am. But paid well to be a dork, man. I used to always say all the shit that got me kicked out of class for, all those wisecracks, bought me some nice properties in real life. Yeah. So screw you, Mrs. Green, for telling me my paper was shit. I won't forget her, by the way. Yeah, I called the teacher in grade 5 a bitch.
I had the same sort of, I even posted it on my Facebook. My mom sent me a report card from Mr. Horlack, my grade 9 IE teacher.
Your
shop
teacher was a park?
No, he wasn't a park. Horlack.
You said Horlack.
This was in Prince George. But yeah, said that I was.
The park extends to Prince George?
He said I was full of bullshit and horseplay, and that I would never amount to anything, basically. And I turned it into a 45-year radio career.
Dude, I can't believe you and I have never had this conversation. And we have literally sat for 6 hours at a fire table for multiple nights in a row and talked about everything from here to there and anywhere. But that Mrs. Green, grade 5, it's not like a project paper. It's a creative writing paper. So make any story you want and put it on paper. She butchered my paper. Butchered it to a point where I was almost scared to put pen to paper again. And I'm glad, I don't remember if it was my mother. I think it was my mother, my father, maybe both of them. But they encouraged me because at that point I was, doing magic and I was already being entertaining. Like, don't let it bother you. It's one test. And then just like what you said, I think back now, this woman who almost destroyed me, to potentially have the confidence in my abilities to write anything, let alone comedy, which is the hardest thing to write of any genre, almost scared me off of pen and paper for the rest of my life. And had I let her get to me, I don't know what I'd be doing. But per what you just said, a 45-year in radio, I went from being in her class when I was 11 years old to turning 57. And since I'm 12, has all been entertainment and show business and writing related. And I have written books. I've written for magazine. I've written for print. I've written for film. And I obviously wrote several seasons of a TV series. And it's amazing to think one person can stifle all that in a young person. And that's why I want to flip this, but the great teachers out there, the ones that really do, and I can still remember 3 people that very, very well. I will not forget Mr. Pete. We always called him, but he was my music teacher. Learned the saxophone under him and loved it, and music and other arts thing. And my 2 gym teachers, I'll never forget, Mr. Hardy and Mr. Lee. Those 3 people were the guys that, were always in my corner. As a matter of fact, I'll never forget the 2 gym teachers and I appeared in our high school yearbook. Everyone has, the chess club, the this club and that club and this club. It was me and the 2 coaches, and we called it the Ugly Club. And it was basically the antithesis of anything that was Jewish American princess related. So we just owned all our ugly is what we did. And our theme song, "Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way." Good days.
Reluctantly.
This podcast reluctantly sponsored by ThompsonMortgages.com. Did you know that 60% of Canadian mortgages come up for renewal in 2025 and 2026? Is yours one of them? This is a great reason why you should reach out to ThompsonMortgages.com. Don't just docu-sign that email that comes from your current lender. Reach out to ThompsonMortgages.com. Ask Mike or any one of the team members if you should be on a fixed rate, a variable rate. What kind of terms should you be looking at? These are great questions for anyone at ThompsonMortgages.com. And if you do reach out, please let them know that you heard about this on the Reluctantly podcast.
Anyway, back to the baseball, which we started 19 minutes ago. I'm counting.
11th inning.
How much time do I have on? Can this go into what time is Jody making dinner? Maybe is the better question.
I have to be at another event at 5, and it's 2:30. So
first of all, you're at the event.
Oh, yes, that's right. Rick the Event Bronson.
That would be my wrestling name. That would be it.
I don't want to see your finishing move.
You've seen it. This is so disturbing for everyone.
Mhm.
All right. Back to the 11th inning. I know baseball very well. The way most Canadian kids grow up playing, and I played hockey, but not to the AA. I played house league, minor league hockey. My brother, a goalie in Montreal, played highest level hockey, actually spent his summers training under Vladislav Tretiak. Remember Tretiak? Yep, the old Russian federal. In any event, I know baseball. First and third with one out. First and third with one out.
Yeah.
Mr. Rogers, first and third, Mr. Manager. One out. If he's not fast, your runner on first. You put in your fastest guy riding the bench right now, likely an outfielder. Those are the guys that usually have the wheels. He steals. You send him right away. Not even wait. First pitch. You know why? Because in the bottom of the 11th inning, when they're only leading by one, a catcher is going to think twice about throwing the ball away to second with a potential miss going into the outfield. Vladdy scores for sure, all tied up. But if the runner steals, you now do not have a double play situation coming up when Kirk hits a shitty dribbler in the infield. It is baseball 101, and I couldn't believe I saw it happen. Could not believe I witnessed it, to a point where at what time did the game end in Toronto? At 10:30 or so, or
something like that. Yeah, because I flipped over to the Oilers game after the game was done.
So yeah, that's what do you remember my buddy? I don't know if he ever did your show. I don't think he did your show. He probably did the radio show, but Lou Eisen. Do you remember Lou Eisen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lou, he was in Cinderella Man. He was Russell Crowe's corner guy in Cinderella Man, right?
Yeah, he's a big boxing freak. He's a huge boxing fan.
Here's my whole point. So he is a big boxing guy, a historian, but he's also a massive baseball historian. And him and I go way. You want to know how way back I go with Lou? In the days and ages of stand-up where I had to travel to Toronto and get there on my own, put myself up before everything was taken care for. I slept on Lou Eisen's couch for a lot of months.
I thought you were going to say cousin.
No, he might have been there too. I don't know, but I slept on Lou Eisen's couch. And this was back in the days when Lou was still smoking weed. He quit. I, on the other hand, picked up where he left off, and I'm trying to do for both of us now. But yeah, I used to say, but Lou is a great baseball historian, big fan of the game, just like he knows his boxing, as you know, because I'm sure you probably talked about it in interviews with him. He knows baseball as well, although he will only tell you, first and foremost, the stats of the best Jews in baseball. That's where he's going to, and you're lucky.
Rod Carew.
Hank, well, the black, that's our Sammy Davis Jr. of the Jewish major league world. But really, Hank Greenberg and Sandy Koufax, it's really a pamphlet. It's not a book of Jewish sports. It's more of it's a business card printing of, he did good. Mazel tov. Yep. I told you, I played in the Jewish Baseball League in Edmonton. No umpires, lawyers on every fucking base. He was out, but we can talk about it.
You and Eisen. Hey, Eisen he didn't grow up in Montreal, did he?
No, Lou's always
Good.
been a TO boy, always a TO boy. But like I said, growing up in Canadian comedy, not unlike Canadian rate. Yeah, I mean, dude, you remember when I first came out here, I was a product of the Montreal radio scene and the Toronto scene. And this is back in the days when radio was big business. I mean, you and I both knew guys back then that had $500,000 plus radio contracts to be the morning guys, you know?
Yeah.
And we knew so many people just because our industry is so small, whether it's media or whether it's comedy. I mean, and I think we talked about Glassman and Oakley and in Montreal. I still talk to Terry DeMonte every once in a while. I just reached out to him not too long ago. Yeah, it's a tiny industry, broadcast, radio, and comedy. So I think that's actually one of the reasons why Canada does produce really good talent. That's one of the big reasons I've always believed, because there are so few stages, so few radio gigs, so few TV jobs in Canada, that back in the day, the cream had to rise to the crop, and the best people that field got those jobs. It's not like America with a million major markets and small markets where there were multiple radio jobs and TV jobs or comedy clubs. In the U.S., if you live in the Northeast U.S., you can play New York, Buffalo, Boston, Washington, Philly as a comic, and you never have more than really an hour's drive or 45 minutes. Baltimore, the whole Bosnia wash, Boston, New York, Philly wash, really easy to get to and from and back and forth. Whereas when you were a Canadian comic, it's like, all right, I got a gig in Ottawa tonight and tomorrow Winnipeg. Oh, that's a bitch of a drive. That's going to be a tough one to make. And I always used to tell the audience, I work 1 hour a day. I've got 23 hours to make it to my next show, and sometimes I'm late. They can't start without me. My name's on the marquee.
If you're in between Ottawa and Winnipeg, you're trying to get a gig at the Ripple Inn in Thunder Bay just so you have some place to
Anywhere I can
sleep.
get a free bed. Exactly. Anywhere I get. Because, dude, I have stayed in way too many hotel bar band settings up in the rafters of the bar, where I traveled with an extra T-shirt to use as a pillowcase. They were gross.
Yeah.
But it was so tough to be an entertainer in this country and such little stage time, and that you really had to be really good at what you did. And I think that pushed a lot of Canadians to be really strong at their creative job, whether it is in media or whether it was in live comedy or music for that matter. And I was also really fortunate in the respect of growing up in Quebec, where we've always bitched that Canada doesn't have a star system. We've said it since day one, right? Unless you're a hockey player, then you're a star. But Quebec, I will say, and this is where I give a French, the Francophone community in Quebec, specifically in Montreal. I think people have a big misnomer about Montreal. I always hear people say, oh, they're so rude to English people. That's bull. Montreal is a great city, and it's a very bilingual city. Sure, if you go to like northern Quebec where it's QPP, yeah, you might not get the warmest welcome. But Montreal specifically has always had this inherent star system. I mean, to a point where I knew Celine Dion. I didn't know Celine. I knew of Celine Dion, listening to Celine Dion, but far before she was in, a global star or a Las Vegas residency, and she was already a star in Quebec. And there's so few Canadians outside of the sports world that you can say are stars. Like, it's almost on one hand. And sadly, it's not until a Canadian has major success in America that's when Canadians are so quick to be able to pull them back and label them as Canadians. Oh, Ryan Reynolds. We've always loved Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. Did you watch his shitty CBC stuff growing up in Vancouver when he was 12? No, you haven't fucking always loved Ryan Reynolds. You didn't like him till he put on a fucking Deadpool costume and kicked the shit out of somebody.
You didn't even know he was Canadian until that happened.
Dude, his Instagram and Twitter or X is Van City Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what people would be thinking then. What else could Van City Reynolds? He doesn't live in a van down by the river. Oh my god, I don't get paid enough for these podcasts. I really don't.
You-
This is
oh,
gold.
yeah, you're telling me. I'm still trying to find that $500,000 radio contract that you referenced earlier in the show.
I'm pretty sure Oakley was making a half mil back in the day, dude. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there was some high paid guys, dude. Radio was top dog for a while
Hmm.
before internet. That's where everyone spent their money. You know this better than anyone. I used to be a big advertiser on your radio station that you work at, not to be confused with the current podcast, but I was a advertiser for years and years and years. I'm
I
still,
still work there. You said worked
I,
at.
well, you're transitioning, obviously. No one sets up a fake fucking black brick wall and wears a black shirt in front of it with a black mic if there's not some darkness in their life. So I'm pretty sure you're out the door pretty quick, but that's neither here nor there again.
Mhm.
Uh, don't worry, your co-host has got it covered because I went golfing with him, and never in my life have I seen a son of a bitch throw a driver so deep into a lake that he had to wait 10 to 12 minutes for the current to bring it back into shore so it was reachable.
Mhm.
Does he listen to you? I probably do. He doesn't even listen to you at work, so he's not going to listen.
Uh,
I am honestly, you're going to have a bitch editing this episode. This isn't nothing. It's right to air.
Not one stroke of the grease pencil is coming across any of the tape here.
So there'll be no fixing in post. I am the post. Okay.
Mhm.
Where was I? What the hell was I talking about?
The star system, and obviously I'm the Renee Simard of Canadian radio.
There it was, but I was going somewhere else and I completely lost track with it. Oh, we were talking Ben's, Ryan Reynolds,
So you
all
read
that.
it, Reynolds,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I mean, even Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen's a Vancouver boy too, and he used to do comedy as a young kid, just like my mother used to do, and drive me to the club in Montreal. His mother used to take him to the club in Vancouver. So, but yeah, I mean, we're bad that way. We don't really label someone as Canadian until they had American success, unless it's a hockey player. And that is why I believe every birth in Canada is a C-section, because I think every kid in Canada is born with skates on. It's not even done by the doctor, it's done from the inside. It's a new bit. It's rough, I know, but I'm working it out. I thought I'd try it on a shitty podcast, so I'll flush it out for the next one. That means something.
What do you think of the Canadians that end up going down to the States, and every once in a while they'll talk about the fact that, oh yeah, they're from Canada, they're Canadian, but I haven't been there in 20 years. It's that sort
You
of
would
thing.
be so surprised I mean, spent, my winters there for a long time since '07 or whenever the crash, '07, '08 from the crash. And I find it's been very interesting over the years, because Arizona actually has a lot of Canadians now. So I actually think there's it used to only be the northern states that you felt really knew Canada, your Minnesotas, your Michigans, the border states, But I think there's certainly a huge Canadian or I should say there was a huge Canadian population, but I can tell you the amount of people that I know who have sold not just now. The first big push I saw selling from the people that picked up during the mortgage crisis in the U.S. Got it around COVID. They just figured they're not going to be there and they're not going to use it. And then you saw another bunch of people, with Trump right now. I mean, we talked about this when you're going down to Arizona in a few weeks. And if anybody wants to know where Terry's staying, he'll be at my place. So I will put out that address. So if you're big fans of the podcast, while they're there, just go and visit him. Just anytime. Stop by, say hi.
I can't wait for the ones or twos of people to show up.
There's a lot, dude. So first of all, a bunch of guys there. I just spoke to one of them yesterday. Darcy Hordachuk is still
Right.
in Arizona. Spoke to him yesterday, although
Mhm.
he's on his way up here to go see his kid playing a game in Medicine Hat, I think. But his kid got drafted. His 15-year-old got drafted first overall in the American draft side for the kids, going into the next year. So Darcy well, and
Yep.
you certainly know a bunch of people, on High Street where my clubs were at. And I mean, again, because I never finished the story. So not only do I know Terry from the first day I came here, not only have we been backstage at a million I know I'm terrible, ADHD, but it makes these shows entertaining. If someone can stay with me, it's like following a super ball that never fucking ends. It's like endless, or one of those, the silver balls that they have on the desk, but mine never lose momentum. They speed up. Crazy shit.
Newton's Cradle.
Is that what it's called?
Newton's Cradle.
I can't believe you're able to pull that out of your noodle. That was well done, Newton's Cradle.
Thank you.
I don't know. I'm still stuck on Is it a Rubik's Cub? I can never.
Yeah.
What was I saying? You threw me off.
You're the one that brought up the steel balls going back and forth in your dentist's office.
I know, it's terrible. My brain is the absolute worst. This is what years and years and years of hanging out at comedy clubs with the likes of Charlie Murphy and Dave Chappelle after sets will do to your brain, ladies and gentlemen. So kids, stay in school.
Let's do some name dropping. Well, actually, you were going to talk about.
We were going to talk. So who did you interview?
Backstage.
That's what we were just talking about. Oh, I was going back to talking about how. So not only did I meet in '91. Yeah. I think it was I think the first time was at an April Wine show. I don't know why, but that comes to mind. Strangely, I mean, I was obviously, as you know, very close friends with Miles Goodwin. I was pretty much backstage at every April Wine concert that I was in town for when they toured here from 91 till 2024. And obviously Miles passed away last year. And we were there tons of times, tons of other rock shows, your TV show. And then when I opened the club in Edmonton in 2004, the comic strip, I mean, as a radio advertiser, as we were just saying, I used to be a buyer. And there, I didn't finish that one. And now I'm not a buyer anymore because I'm not invited on the yearly golf trip anymore. And I don't know what I did to piss anybody off.
You stopped buying.
You mean I just stopped buying commercials and I don't get? I thought I was invited because I was the personality on the trip. It wasn't you, Sparky. It wasn't you.
Yeah.
And we had to golf and rain the last time too, so I was bitter anyways.
Yeah.
It was a lovely place.
Prince Edward Island. It was a pretty nice place.
Dude, honestly, it's so funny. The photos come up so often. That day we played Crowbush. I mean, that was just magical, man. That was just a beautiful course. Yeah, I have a bunch of great photos. I'm sure you have them. I'm sure I've sent them to you. But yeah, those are some great photos. We played some nice tracks, and yeah, it was a fun trip. But that was my last one. I got Ixnade after that. That was it.
Reluctantly.
This podcast, reluctantly sponsored by Concept Clothing and Culture. CONXEPPT.com. Handcrafted suits, custom tuxedos, and tailored essentials. Suits starting at $1,188. Made to measure, right here in downtown Edmonton. Concept, CONXEPPT.com. If you reach out to Dave or anyone at Concept.com, please let them know that you heard about them on the Reluctantly podcast.
We start with a conversation, style, fabric, and color analysis, measured and handcrafted within 4 weeks. It ends with confidence. Concept.com.
So then I open the club in Edmonton. Terry starts interviewing all the. I know it's crazy. I have the worst ADHD. I know. Mm-hmm. Terry starts interviewing all of my comics, and then Terry started to take a very active role in the performances at the club. And Terry hosted for several years our what used to be called the Funniest Person with a Day Job contest, and now it's just our Funniest Person contest. And aside from that, we did the Fort McMurray fire shows together with Rob Schneider there, raising money for the Fort McMurray fires. We did you, who were out of town, were kind enough that you did send in a lovely video piece for the Jasper fires that we raised money for at the club. Yeah. And by the way, I just like to every media personality that couldn't be there, that did. We had a lot of, famous Edmontonians, some really beautiful little, because we asked the question we posed, Chris Duncan, my friend from Production World, and I were kind of producing this, and the questions we were asking to get guys to record themselves is, do you have a fond memory, or what does Jasper mean to you? And most of our pros and, people that have been in media forever and a day, like Terry, took a nice little 40 to 60 second little piece. And Terry's 15-minute submitted tape, 15-minute submitted tape.
Sent in 2 different files.
It sent it. Well, I mean, we couldn't even do it through WeTransfer. I mean, it was huge. Yeah. I believe we used mail drop, didn't we? And when I say mail drop, actual physical hard mail, you dropped it off and there was a hard drive in the mail.
It was 2.5 minutes long. That was it.
What I was going to say, I'm busting your balls, but what I was going to say was incredibly well received that night, and amongst some of the most eloquent speaking of the evening. So kudos to you, and also just for all the community work you've done over the years here, dude. Because I know you, and I don't know, and I'm sure a lot of people do recognize it, but the reason why you've been in media here for 45 fucking years is because you are part of the community here in this city. You know that.
Oh, yeah. You have to be.
You should get a drink, you bastard. Make one.
Thanks. All right. This is full of gin.
Gin in a water bottle. I have a friend that does that with vodka.
But that's not the only time we did something that was pretty cool for charity, or well, I guess it wasn't for charity, but it was a roast.
Oh, in Arizona?
Yeah.
Yes. So I was going to do something earlier. So not the roast, but you were at the opening of the club. Were you not?
Yes, I was.
Grand opening. Terry came down for the grand opening of the Arizona club. And then, as you're right, one of the coolest projects I've ever had an opportunity to work on and produce was right place, right time, and being a Canadian hockey fan and owning a club in Phoenix, Arizona. Was when Shane Doan retired. We did the roast of Shane Doan, and Terry actually was our voice of God for the roast of Shane Doan, and introduced me. I was the host of it, but we had a bunch of great comics and local personalities and players. We even had George LaRock as one of the roasters, which blew me away because I didn't think he could speak. You know he's one of my old friends. You can laugh at that. Now you're making it look like a racist on your show.
No. The thing was, I couldn't understand if you were thinking because it was only because he speaks French, but I think you understand French and you speak
I
French.
do, but I still find it fascinating how people get so shocked when they see this big friggin' black guy, and then they hear him speaking this French out of his mouth, and I think it blows a lot of the white Americans away. But he was a good sport, man. I remember looking at him. He's a vegan. I go, he's fucking huge.
Mm-hmm.
I said, George, how many peanuts can you eat in a day to get that big? You weren't that big on the ice.
That week that I was there for that, we spent the better part of 3 or 4 days. Was it? Well, I got to sit and write with Bonnie McFarlane, which was super fun.
Bonnie. We had Bonnie come in and direct it. My producing partner from New York at the time was Chris Italia, so Chris came in with Bonnie, and we sat down with Bonnie. I remember sitting at that top booth up there with the laptop. I also have a great photo, and I forget what caption you posted, whether it was Twitter back then or what, but it was you and me and Chris, I think. And we were sitting on the patio there on the outside of the club. And I think your caption was, "The three geniuses hard at work." And we're literally just doing nothing. We're not even talking. We're just staring up into space.
Well, that was a long week. And that was the night that everything was finally happening. It
was great. It was honestly the coolest event that I think I've, I produced a couple of COVID shows. I did the first COVID show in Arizona in a parking lot, and had a comic up on I'm a Jew, that lift things, where people can, but not like just a little ladder, like a platform lift. What are they called?
Scissor lift.
I'm gonna give you a scissor kick with that attitude. The way you look at me like I should know this. I'm a Jew from Montreal. I didn't know what a fucking combine was until I thought it was like you put 2 different chips in a bowl. That's a No, it's a fucking tractor. Why don't you just call it a tractor?
There's okay.
No, you don't have an answer. You do it to fuck with us Easterners.
Do you remember before it was Rexall Place? What was the name of Skyreach Center?
But that's not a tool. That's a company. Otherwise, I would have said, "Oh, I put some comics up on a Skyreach." But no, that sounds like a sexual move, like a wraparound or something. I sky reach the comedians. I don't know if that's a thing.
Scissor
I might
lift.
have to charge them. I don't know.
It sounds something like you could throw in the term Zoom boom, and that's also a.
But yeah, we produced that show. I was really proud of that. And then we did the one at West Edmonton Mall, where we did it up on the stairs, and you were there for that one too. I mean, like, geez, a lot of shows. But what was so cool about the Doan event, every last detail, man. And, because we had the Coyotes heavily involved with us, and we had the mascot. And before the show, the street was closed off, and there were kids playing street hockey in front of the club. Do you remember that? And like,
Yeah.
what a great sight to see kids act. I don't see that in Edmonton anymore, and that's how I grew up. Every day after school, man. If it was baseball season, we played baseball or stickball. If it was hockey season, it was street hockey, and it's just so sad that that's vanished from our culture. But just the details. Do you remember we even had the Doan highlight video reel, and we were broadcasting it onto the outside of the building when it got dark? So we had the videos of him there, and just every last detail, even all the flags. You know how they have different banners on High Street? They were all changed to Doan, and it was one of those events where, we weren't just part producing a TV show. We were like event planning. And the fact that we pulled that all together, I thought it was really it's funny. I spoke to Earl Skakel just this week, who was one of the roasters and is also a Kennedy, believe it or not. Earl's part of the Kennedy family. Earl said to me on the phone, and I shit you not, he goes, Rick, that roast was still one of the highlights of my entire comedy career, which is over 40, like you, probably pushing 45 years. And, he won roast battles on Comedy Central back in the day. He was a winner of it. And he said, Rick, I would put that roast up against any roast that, we've seen on TV. Granted, we didn't have the lineup Tom Brady had. It wasn't Kevin Hart, Nikki Glazer. It was all solid comics, but with a purpose. They're comics that were hockey background comics. Joe Bartnick from Pennsylvania, who's like opened for Bill Burr for years, is best friends with Bill Burr, was like a huge hockey, has a huge hockey podcast. And so we had guys like him and Earl Skakel that really knew hockey. And
wasn't Shuby there too? Shuby was Schubert.
Yeah, but then again, he's a Philly boy, so he grew up as the Flyers guy. I mean, that's why he is a Broad Street bully, the son of a bitch. Look at him. But yeah, they were hockey knowledgeable guys, but not just that. They were all beasts of comics, and I don't think I've ever seen a roast where almost everyone did well. Even the personalities that weren't comedic personalities, like media people, sportscasters, who we wrote jokes for, and we hired a bunch of local comics. And that was kind of cool too, is because I had clubs in so many markets at that point. I put out writing offers to all the comics and all the clubs between Edmonton, Minnesota, Arizona, wherever. And it gave a lot of guys work. It was one of those productions that when you walk away from it, you just know that everyone involved in making it, and it took a big crew. It wasn't just me, Chris, and Bonnie. Even you come in, and there, it was a big team of people to do it. But yeah, I got to tell you, Terry, we've done 1 million golf tournaments together, a lot of really cool events together. And I'm not saying it because I was involved with it, but honestly, that's going to go down as one of my most special nights in. For me as a performer, just being able to host that show and just because of the people that were around, my closest, to have people like you there and Shuby there, who I go back with for 1 million years, Earl, it was great. And to have all those Coyotes sitting there and, some former players, new players. I mean, you want to know how packed our show was and how well before the show, I'm trying to get ready. I'm working like an idiot. I get a phone call from Jason Demers, who doesn't have tickets but wants to get in, and he's next door at the bar waiting. And I know Jason. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I know him through Upshaw. I mean, what am I gonna do? I got to go over. I'm like, dude, give me a few minutes. Let me see if there's any empty spot. We get him in, and where does he? He's in the front fucking row. How did he get the best?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
I remember seeing that. Do you remember who the Oilers drafted instead of Shane Doan on that draft day?
I don't think I'm going to be able to get that because when that was happening, I was solely a Montreal Canadiens fan. I didn't become a secondary Oiler fan until I moved here. And really, I wasn't a fan then because they were shitty, but I was really a big fan in 2000, except for 2006. From 2004 to 2012, when I opened the club in 04, the Oilers were great to me because I didn't have to contend with playoffs, and I sold a lot of tickets that time of the year. Last year, I have submitted a bill to Daryl Cates for $19 million. I've never made that money at the club, but he doesn't know that. And 19 to him is like me asking $20. Let me 20.
Shane Doan was drafted 7th overall after number 6, Steve Kelly, drafted by the Edmonton Oilers.
Wow. Well, I'll say this much. I mean, Donor, you got to get one of the few players in the NHL that was a lifer contract. Granted, started in Winnipeg and ended up with there, but always with the same organization.
He played over 1,500 games in the NHL.
I think I was at his last game. You know which game I saw? My last game that I saw him play was the first time Austin Matthews was coming to play his first time in Arizona as a Toronto Maple Leaf. So I went to that game, and Donor had a big night. I think he had like I don't know if it was a 400 point. It was like a round number that got him to a new stat level. But that's the last memory I have of seeing him there. But on a side note, I did see the very last Coyotes game, where it was at Mullet Arena, 5,000 person, 4,500 to 5,000 against the Edmonton Oilers. And I remember walking up, I saw, I know Jack Michaels, I know Jack, and I see Jack and I go, dude, this is kind of special in a strange way, like that's so weird. Chris Duncan must be heard talking about him. He's calling right now. I won't answer. Don't. Mind you, he might be more entertaining than you. Should I get it?
Well, maybe he's calling to do a podcast with you too.
Let's find out. Hang on. Okay. Oh wait, no, I missed it. Never mind. All right. Okay. So where were we?
The last game of the Mullet Arena.
So I walked up to Jack and said, "It's kind of cool. I mean, Oilers versus Yotes. It was the only game I went to at Mullet Arena. I had never seen another game there, and they played, I think, the last 1 or 2 seasons out of there. One for sure, maybe 2. Yeah. It was the greatest hockey experience in my life. Like, sit right here on top. I'm like, why haven't I been doing it? It's like, you know what it's like? It's like going to see Cactus League baseball in a 3,000 person stadium as opposed to a 60,000 person stadium in the World Series. It's like seeing your favorite band in a venue that holds, 300 people, that plays concerts, in stadiums. It was just
something else.
It was something else. Yeah, it was unbelievable. Yeah, let's go with that.
So where should I go golfing when I'm down in Arizona here at the end of the month?
All right. So honestly, I'll tell you, I think you should go to one of the reasonable ones around there. What time? It's high season no matter what. Dove Valley Ranch. I mean, look, dude, I took you to TPC. We played TPC. Don't go, if you haven't golfed since this summer, do not go golf like we did last time, Troon North, where if you miss the fairway by a foot, it's done.
Yeah.
Don't go there. If they weren't so expensive, I would tell you, go to the resort courses like Kierland, because they're generous. They play friendly. They're still challenging. That's not a walk away 72 like I've seen you do. I mean, it's going to take good golf, but there's nothing I hate more than playing vacation golf and struggling. And especially sometimes when vacation golf in Arizona since COVID, dude, prices went up ridiculous.
Well, that's where you and I played. We played at Kierland a few times.
Yeah. But we also played, I took you to Champions. I took you to TPC. We played Stadium. I took you to Stadium. We did that.
No, we played Troon. We didn't play stadium. We played someplace up north of Scottsdale too.
Oh, I know. I took you up to oh, why am I blanking on it now?
Camel hoof, camel toe.
Who's in the room with you right now that's the first thing that popped into your mind? What just happened to my hair? Well, apparently I am turning into Kramer. This is great. If I say anything, Ray, hey, just so people don't think I spoke to Ronald Goldie McClendon today. My old friend from the Eskies. He's still black. Here's my favorite Ronald McClendon story. You know, he was playing in LSU with running back, set tons of records that still haven't been broken at LSU. His quarterback while he was there was Manning. Played under Eli.
Uh-huh.
And still friendly with him. And got drafted in the NFL, but was a little too small, I think, by NFL standards, height-wise. Ended up here in the CFL. My first encounter with Goldie was I see this guy sitting about 4 chairs deep from the front of the stage at the comic strip. This guy is first of all, he's sitting down, so I can't even tell if he's your height, 8'15", whatever the fuck you are now. But he's built like a Greek god, whereas you and I are built like goddamn Greeks. Very different things. See him laugh, which is a good sign. I like that he's laughing. And when he laughs, first time, I see what is it there? You know what I'm talking about? The gold, what do you call that?
The grill?
The grill. Thank you. How come I'm so white that I don't know that shit? I see the grill. And then I find that that's why he's Goldie. And I ripped the shit out of him that night. I'm like, you're playing here in Edmonton? Oh, you must not be a very good football player. And I just, meanwhile, we become best of buddies to a point. His wife, and I don't know if you remember her, but Jade, she used to be an assistant pro at the Edmonton Country Club when I was a member at the Country Club before Pete Club a million years ago. So Goldie, I'd be out golfing with her on the course because she's phenomenal to play with. And Goldie has one of those games the day before with the Eskies where I think he ran for like 151. So the type of running that gets you front page of the sports section, maybe even on the cover type of game. He calls us with his wife around the course, and he's saying, "Oh, good game. I did this." And he's like, I go, Goldie, you ran for 160 yards? Your wife and I just walked 7,200, you lazy son of a bitch. Every time I run into Goldie, I tell that story to whoever's with us. And then the other weird thing, as you know, he takes off from here. He moves to the U.S. We kind of lose touch after he finished playing football. And then I call him out of the blue one day. I forget what I needed, but I was going to New Orleans and I needed some advice from him because I know he knows it well. And I go, where are you at now? He goes, I live in Arizona. I'm like, where in Arizona? I was, I live in Scottsdale. I go, where in Scottsdale? I live in Troon. If you remember where my place is, I'm about 4 minutes away from Troon.
Right.
Goldie and I reconnected and became neighbors again. So I lost him for a little bit and we found each other. And we had both been there for about 2 years. I'd already been there 2 years. He'd been there a while. Found it out by fluke because I called him out of the blue.
Hey, tell me the Bill Clinton story.
So there was a girl named Monica Lewinsky.
Okay.
I worked with Bubba. Yes, I did work with Bill Clinton. I absolutely did. I was lucky enough to be a host on these day-long business seminars that were high ticket price for companies to send their key employees, execs, whatever, VPs to listen to speeches and be taught by the likes of there were countless guys, but an assortment on one show would have been like Michael Eisner from Disney, Lance Armstrong before the Royd scandal, but I still like him. I gotta tell you, he was a great guy when I hung out with him. And by the way, there should just be an Olympic where everyone does steroids. Like, just open it the fuck up. Let's see how everyone really can be. Yeah, I want to see if the German men/women really are that good as swimmers. They could be better. But but now I lost track. Oh, Bubba. So I got to work with Bill Clinton, Dr. Phil, Deepak Chopra, who was fascinating. Dr. Phil, I don't care if he watches this episode. He's an asshole. Dr. Phil, you're an asshole. And a lot of really big keynote speakers. But yeah, in New York City, I worked with Bill on a few events where I was the host, just the light information guy to keep the day going. I've done it millions of, you do it for bands, I do it for comics and this shit. And but on the New York show, I got to spend considerably more time with him because I was in the green room with him, and we chatted for a while. And I was also the show where I introduced him. The other shows, a lot of the big CEOs from the companies that were sponsoring the events paid the money so that they could be the person that introduced him. But I guess no one foot the bill on this show high enough, so I got to introduce him, and it was really cool, and I wish now I had it on tape, for the love of God. But the first 5 minutes after I'll never forget too, ladies and gentlemen, after reading a whole big thing, but ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 42nd President of the United States of America, Mr. William Jefferson Clinton. And he goes up, we're shaking hands, thanks, Rick. His first 5 minutes is like, it's kind of ironic that I'm being introduced by, at that point, I had won the Coca Comedian of the Year, right? And he's like, Canadian Comedian of the Year. And he kind of basically segues me being a comedian into him trying to do a little something funny off the top and taking light of his, of some of the funnier things that happened during his presidency. But I will say this much, one of the, probably actually, I would say the most, I don't want to say, he has an energy that when he walked into the building or when he was driven in and came in, you felt it.
He commands a room, yes.
But before he's even in, like I'm telling you, like he was driving in, like to the back area, was like able to do so in this setup. And you feel him arriving, you feel him come out of the car. And I will say this much, and I'm very apolitical and I don't vote in America. So if any of my American friends watch this at some point, as a business owner down there, I don't pick sides. But this guy, I probably saw him do a half dozen, 7 speeches maybe over the series of a few years when I was doing these shows with it's called The Power Within, these day-long seminars. I never heard him repeat a thing. I never saw him use a teleprompter. And the stats that he would throw out were precise, exact. I don't mean little numbers like, I have $14 in my pocket. He's talking about amount of deaths, genocide, whatever the topic was. Rhodes Scholar. I mean, this is a smart son of a bitch. I mean, he was so intimidatingly intelligent that I was fearful to talk comedy with him, fearing he would know more about it than I do. Yeah, he gives off that fucking vibe, man. He's bright.
Well, it's something else. If you can feel him arriving, there's not very many women that can say that.
Monica can't. Thank you. Back to the tag, and that's a callback. And scene. Are we closing? Is that where we at? Extra.
Reluctantly.
This podcast reluctantly sponsored by ThompsonMortgages.com. It costs you nothing to make a phone call to see if you can get a better rate, a better term, and better service for your mortgage. Also, Concept.com. Concept Clothing and Culture. CONXEPPT.com. Look your best.
Reluctantly.